What's up? What's happening? What's going on, everybody? There are certain players that come out of a draft that we all know are going to be absolute stars. Somebody like, say, a Peyton Manning or Andrew Luck. Those guys, we all knew they were going to be good. But then there are those people that we kind of all knew weren't going to be any good at all. Today we dive into 10 players we all knew were going to be busts, and a huge shout out to Syed Sultan for suggesting this video. Number 10, SCHENN. The Toronto Maple Leafs traded up to draft the big 6'2" defenseman 5th overall in 2008. Many gave Brian Burke credit for finding the Leafs a possible franchise star, but all of us knew shortly after that SCHENN would fail. Toronto rushed him into the NHL right away, even though the Blue Liners take longer to develop always. He played a ton of awful games with the Leafs and never really had the players or coaches around him to succeed. In 2012, he was traded to the Flyers. He had talent, but was never set up to succeed in Toronto. Number 9, Hasheem Thabeet. Coming into the 2009 NBA draft, many scouts believed that the 7'3" Tanzanian center was set up for failure in the NBA. Thabeet didn't have really any of the mechanics or fundamentals down to succeed in the NBA. Nonetheless, the Memphis Grizzlies drafted Thabeet 2nd overall in 2009. He played 2 seasons with the Grizzlies, did almost nothing, and then would go from team to team to team. Thabeet was out of the NBA by 2014, a draft bust we all saw from a mile away because he's so tall. Number 8, Andrea Bargnani. The Raptors drafted Andrea Bargnani in 2006 1st overall, but many of us knew he wouldn't succeed because this was one of the worst draft classes ever. He had some good years, even helping the Raptors make the playoffs twice, but he never actually morphed into a superstar and battled injuries and consistency. Nobody ever hyped him up to be a franchise savior when he was drafted because we all knew he wasn't going to be that guy. Number 7, Justin Blackmon. Despite being a star wide receiver for Oklahoma State, there was just something wrong with Justin Blackmon when he turned pro. The fact that he was drafted by the Jaguars 5th overall doesn't help. Blackmon went to an awful Jaguars team and played just 2 seasons, registering a total of just over 1,200 yards and 6 touchdowns. The thing is, we all knew he would be awful for one of 2 reasons. One, he was drafted to a really, really bad team, but we said that already. 2, Blackmon immediately ran into trouble with the law. He was arrested in the 2012 offseason for drunk driving. So you had a troubled player on a bad team. That is a recipe for failure. Number 6, Brandon Weeden. The Cleveland Browns obtained a handful of picks from the Atlanta Falcons by letting them trade up to draft Julio Jones in 2011. So for Cleveland, it made sense to draft a quarterback with the 22nd pick in 2012. But then they used it on a 28-year-old named Brandon Weeden. It wasn't just the fact that he was almost 30 that was concerning. He was never that golden of a prospect to really begin with. Long story short, Weeden joined a list of countless names of quarterbacks who were drafted by the Browns and failed. He is now doing work as a journeyman backup. Number 5, Anthony Bennett. 3 years after losing LeBron James in free agency, the Cavs thought they were getting lucky. They drafted a Canadian forward. His name was Anthony Bennett with the 1st pick in 2013. Well, what could go wrong? Bennett wasn't ultra hyped or anything. Like 2006, the 2013 draft class was devoid of any really great talent. Bennett just happened to be the top prospect in a mediocre draft class. He definitely wasn't set up to succeed in Cleveland, and we all knew he was going to fail. Number 4, E.J. Manuel. The 2013 NFL draft with so little hype and not a single intriguing quarterback prospect. But the Buffalo Bills were desperate, so they drafted E.J. Manuel 16th overall in 2013. Remember, scouts weren't the least bit sold on Manuel being a franchise quarterback at all. So he went to a miserable Bills team and played 10 games in his rookie year. Manuel eventually lost the starter's job and became nothing more than a backup in Buffalo. Number 3, Adam Morrison. Morrison became famous during his college career, but many of us actually remember him as a big-time NBA draft bust. Morrison was drafted 3rd overall by the Charlotte Bobcats in 2006. Yes, the Bobcats, a horrible team with likely nobody in place to to help Morrison succeed, and we were right. We knew he wasn't going to do much in Charlotte. The knee injuries piled up and ultimately ruined Morrison's career. It's too bad he wound up being drafted by the Bobcats. Perhaps he could have lived up to the hype on a more talented team. Number 2, Nail Yakupov. Unlike most of the recent NHL draft classes, the 2012 class didn't come with many can't-miss generational players. No Connor McDavid, Austin Matthews. No, nobody there. Despite well-documented attitude issues and a reported desire to play in Russia, Yakupov was drafted first overall by the Oilers in 2012. But Yakupov immediately showed his arrogance and cockiness. He got into clashes with coaches and management. He couldn't outshine the other young stars on Edmonton. He was traded to the Blues in 2016, ending a forgetful tenure in Alberta we all knew was coming. Number 1, Johnny Manziel. Manziel won the 2012 Heisman Trophy. He was a superstar at Texas A&M, but then what happened? Most scouts seem to agree that Manziel's do-threat style wasn't going to transition into NFL success. When the Cleveland Browns drafted him 22nd overall in 2014, we knew he was set up to disappoint. Manziel waited midway through the 2014 season before he became a starter. Then the attitude and legal problems came out. Manziel missed practices, skipped concussion protocol, and was often spotted partying. The Browns released him after the 2015 season, and nobody was shocked whatsoever. What other players did you know were going to be a bust? Let me know in the comments below. If you're new to Total Pro Sports, hey, welcome. Hit the subscribe button. If you like this video, hit the like button. It only makes sense. Until next time, I'm Mike Cantalupo. Thanks for watching.